Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final race of round 1 here in the Zwift Racing League. Today we have a new route called the Jarvis Seaside Sprint with a lot of sprint points on the line. So let's get right into your recon and into the intro. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the Seaside Sprint is now going to be the final route for round 1, and we have a lot to talk about. Just like the first points race of the year, it was absolutely chaotic, and it felt like you needed to be with that front group if you wanted to score points for your team. Hey guys, I just want to pop in and say thank you for watching the Recon. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and we've got about a month left to do it. So please hit that sub button and enjoy the rest of this recon. The stronger teams ended up winning on one side, and weaker riders were flown out the back, puking and anything else that they were doing. Now the A's and B's are going to be having 3 laps on the Jarvis Seaside Sprint, while your C's and D's only have 2. Now with these 2 or 3 laps, depending on what rank you are, you're still going to be getting the same amount of power-ups each lap. There's a total of 6. So make sure you get to write this down because this might take a while. Starting off on the first banner, we are going to be getting the Aero Boost. The second banner that we get to is going to be giving us the Draft Boost. The third boost is going to be the good old Feather at that third banner. The fourth is going to be Burrito, so no drafting there. And the last 2 are going to be, again, another Aero Boost, and then the good old Ghost power-up. Now on this route, there are 3 current sprint points / KOM points. Now these all will have FAL points and the FTS points. So you need to remember to go all out for these, and you want to be towards the front of this pack the entire race. Personally, I think an aero setup is going to be your best bet for the bike choice. So I think the DT Swiss wheels, along with either the Canon Aero Road 2024 or the S-Works Tarmac SL8, are going to be the best options for this route. Now I wouldn't even count out the Tron this week, as it is also one of the fastest frames in the game. This kind of depends on what you currently have upgraded and don't have upgraded. Now 2 weeks ago we had a points race that was absolutely insane. It was super chaotic, super fast, and all out power. And this is going to be no different, except there is 1 KOM point. Now with all the boring stuff out of the way, let's get right into this route recon. Now, just like all things in Zwift, we start downtown Watopia in the starting pens, and we make our way towards the S's as we have a 2.8 kilometer lead-in. Now this lead-in is going to be extremely fast because the first sprint point is right where the start banner is. That is going to be our finish line and our ending line, and also it's going to be the first sprint point for the big FAL points and FTS points. Now a little secret about this little sprint point is that you want to start your sprint on the descent. You're going to be able to pick up way more speed and launch off of some of the riders that may not be as fast as you going down this climb. Then you're faster to the sprint point. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're battling out for this first sprint point or any of the sprint points. Now the one thing about this route that's going to make it extremely difficult for riders is this first portion. After the first sprint, you have about 3 kilometers before the next sprint, so you do have time to catch your breath, get your legs under you, and keep going. But the issue comes when you actually get to the sprint, and you realize that we have a sprint for FTS and FAL points, and then instantly after we go into a KOM climb. Now this KOM climb also isn't the most difficult climb in the world, but if you're already putting a huge effort on the first sprint and then the second sprint and then you're climbing, you're gonna hope that you have enough legs to make it up and over this climb for the next parts of the race. Now with the feather up power up, you will be able to at least lessen the load of the climb, but it's still gonna hurt nonetheless. Now personally, I really like holding on to the featherweight power up during this climb until the 7.1 kilometer mark. This is kind of the most difficult part of the climb, and you'll get the most out of the featherweight power up as possible. Now some people may need to use it earlier on in the climb to stick with these people, but if you don't have to, I definitely recommend keeping it. Now at the top of the KOM climb, you will be getting the burrito power up. So be careful for anyone that may try to break away at this point on the second or third lap, depending on what category you are. This can be interesting depending on what happens in this race. Now, personally, I don't think there's a lot of people that are going to be able to truly use this power up for an advantage just based off the 2 sprint points that we just completed, but keep in mind that people may want to use this power up for their advantage. Either way, you're going to be able to drop it as the descent starts. And even if you do push a little bit of power, you're going to force some people's hands and force some effort out of others. Now, as you make your way down the descent, that next orange banner is where you're going to be picking up your 5th power up, and that's going to be another aero boost. Now, you can decide to keep this and use it for the final sprint, or as we go into the volcano, you can pick up the ghost power up for a sneaky breakaway towards the end. Now from the top of the KOM climb to the next sprint point, it's going to be 7.4 kilometers. So there is quite a bit of space between the two, and then it starts right back over at that lap with 1 sprint, a quick rest, a second sprint with the KOM right after it. Now it's going to be hard to survive, but I know you can all do it. Now the last thing that I want to bring up in this recon is going to be potential ending strategies. So let's get right into that. The first strategy is going to be using that burrito on the top of the KOM climb for an insane breakaway. Now, I highly doubt that this may happen in your races, but you need to respect some of the stronger riders that may be in your race and that haven't gone for those FAL points during the sprint, but they can fly up that climb and take over the race. Now, like I said, I don't think it's going to be an insane strategy, but also you do have to note that there are FAL points at the finishing sprint where it also is the race's end. Now the next type of ending is going to be using that ghost power up that you get from the volcano. The S's are a perfect place to launch an attack where you can slingshot yourself off of one of the descents into one of the other S's and absolutely fly through the course. This could be an easy way to sneak out a victory even if you don't have the legs to really win on a sprint finish. Getting that sneaky breakaway is always a good feeling. Now, what I think is going to be the most popular way to win this race is going to be going for a long sprint finish. For any of those who decide the ghost power up isn't for them and they stick with that aero boost, you're going to be able to start your sprint near the top of the last climb. And as you make your descent, just slowly increase the pace, increase the watts that you're using. And the second that it hits the bottom, explode for a sprint and drop all of those watts with your aero boost. This is probably going to be the most popular way for winning this race, so make sure you do your best and hopefully win. And comment if you do win by any of those 3 means, because yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for me in this recon for the last stage of round 1 here in the Zwift Racing League. It's been very short, it's been very fun, but I hope you enjoyed. You got some good recon notes and you're excited for what, in a month we have round 2. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, follow for more, and we will be right back with another recon very shortly. See you guys later.